Receiving simulator transmission. Uploading transmitted feed. Initializing playback sequence. Alright Seipher, we're ready.
Hey everyone, Seipher here, and welcome back to Seipher Plays Kingdom Hearts. In the last episode, we chased down Ursula to the open ocean to get Triton's trident back. The Sea Witch, however, was not prepared to go down without one last fight. Using the trident and the great power of the sea, she transformed herself into a hulking giant of a kraken, and took us on with all the powers of the ocean. It was a hard-fought battle with raging thunderbolts, but we ultimately felled Ursula and recovered the trident. With it in our possession, we revealed Atlantica's keyhole and sealed it to prevent Ariel's home from ever being lost to darkness, before returning to Traverstown to finally undertake some much-needed item synthesis. This time, we are going back into the 100 Acre Woods book to restore the penultimate torn page. However, before we do that, I would just like to go over a few changes and notes with my party. I use the two AP ups not two AP ups, the AP up we synthesized last episode on Sora. As I always say, use every stat booster you get on Sora, considering you control him. I also went ahead and actually swapped the Crab Claw for the Jungle King. This is going to mainly be for what we're going to be doing in the 100 Acre Wood today. A longer Keyblade is definitely more helpful for what we've got coming up, so equip your longest Keyblade. If you're playing along at this point, Jungle King is the only long Keyblade we have, but if you want to come back and do this later, there will be other long Keyblades. After that, I did actually change around Donald and Goofy's equipment. I equipped the Rune Armlet and Angel Bangle to Donald just to give him some more MP, defense, and HP in total, because that is kind of his greatest strength with the MP and his greatest weakness with HP and defense. And with Goofy, I replaced the Inferno Band with this Master's Earring to give him some more max AP and defense. And with that added AP, I have changed around some abilities. With Sora, I was able to equip Strike Raid, which will definitely be a lot more helpful going forward now that we don't have to deal with Atlantica not allowing us to use limits anymore. With Donald, I just made sure to equip his MP Rage. I do wish that we had this treasure magnet, but we'll be getting some AP on him soon enough in levels, I'm sure, to be able to equip that. And then lastly, for Goofy, I used the added AP that he got from his new equipment to equip Cheer and MP Gift. This will play into his support role. We're almost there, but not quite being at the best that we possibly can at this point for that support role. We just have one piece of equipment to track down, but that'll be for another time. In terms of limits, I do actually want to quickly go over this with Sora. Having multiple limits like Strike Raid and Sonic Blade on at the same time is not necessarily a good thing. Having multiple equipped is not advisable because the game will cycle between options in the fourth menu slot, Triangle Command if you're playing Final Mix, with whichever limit can be used based on a variety of factors, distance from the enemy, MP cost, etc. If multiple limits fit the criteria, the game will randomly decide between them, making it difficult if you wanted to use a specific limit. As such, I would only recommend equipping one at a time, and my general recommendation for the two that we have now would be Strike Raid, as it gives Sora a decent non-magic ranged option and provides invincibility frames, whereas Sonic Blade I think has initial invincibility frames for the first attack and will rush down opponents and can be good for crowd control, but in general not as good as Strike Raid in my opinion. In any case, with that all said, let's head on into the 100 Acre Wood to return this page. And And if we go to the new area east, we see a clearing crowded with tree stumps. Let's take a look. And we immediately see Tigger and Roo, so let's talk to them. This here's my bouncing spot. We can bounce around here all day. Nothing beats bouncing. You want to bounce too, Sora? It's lots of fun. Lots of fun. Okay, let's do this. To bounce with the finest, you'll need some pointers from the finest. But Owl, you don't bounce around like we do. I'm afraid you're right. I can't master everything, I suppose. Yeah, leave it to the professional. Bounce this way, please. Okay, wrong person to talk to. I don't know why that took so long. Tigger bounce. Watch Tigger bouncing pattern, then follow his lead. Here's a little warm-up. Okay, this first one should be fairly straightforward. Just bounce to the same tree stumps as Tigger. Or jump, I guess. You'll get that little jingle when you do it correctly. Talk to him again. Now it gets tricky. Okay, back. Okay, so this is gonna be a little more involved, but not that complicated. Thankfully, we have high jump. This is a lot more difficult without it. Alright. You're doing fantastical. This'll be the last one. Okay, and he launches himself up there. Gonna land on that stump. That, and just a direct path. So a bit simpler than the pattern that we were doing before. But this can be a little bit tricky because we have to make sure that we land on this stump right below us. I typically like to go first person. And just run off, not jump off, because that can be a little tricky. Okay. You've gotten mighty good at bouncing, Sora. Right, Roo? We talk to Roo. Hey, Tigger, I think he's ready for the big one. Well, there's only one way to find out. Okay, so the actual minigame of this visit to the 100 Acre Wood. Tigger's giant pot. Whack the nuts back at the pot to shatter it. This is a pretty straightforward minigame, but it is one of the hardest to go through. As the game implies, Tigger will throw nuts out of the giant pot. You have to swing your keyblade at it to hit those nuts back. You need to break it open, and to do that, you need to score 20 points without falling off the stump. The goal of the minigame for the overall 100 Acre Wood reward, however, requires that we get the 20 points or greater within 30 seconds. As with the block Tigger minigame, jumping before hitting the nuts nets you more points and can even get you all the points in a single swing if your timing is right. To get the most points possible, this is why I recommend equipping your longest Keyblade, which, if you're following along, would be Jungle King. And make sure you have High Jump equipped. I am going to just say this all right now before we actually get into the minigame, because it is a bit tricky to focus and do this at the same time, so I'm just giving this information straight up right now. You'll want to stand at the back of the stump and jump toward the nut when attacking. But most importantly, do not lock on to the nut, as doing so will definitely have a good chance of throwing off Sora's attack and causing you to miss, which can make this take a lot longer than it needs to. You can fall off without penalty if you hit the nut at the pot, but you have to get back up as soon as possible to be able to not miss the next one. So just keep that all in mind. I'm going to try and do this to show. Oh, and of course I don't do it. Okay, well, we have to go over and talk to Rue again to reset. I don't know why they bother with this archaic. Oh, you couldn't do it? Try again, okay? Alright. Okay, not my best effort. And that shattered it in 21 seconds, I think. I believe my journal will confirm that. Yep, 21:69. So that is basically all you need to do for the best time in the minigame. Getting 30 seconds or less will ensure that you are able to get the 100 Acre Wood reward. So, all in all, pretty good. With that having been finished up, we are technically done here, but there are a number of items for us to get. First off, inside the trunk, if we open this, we get an AP up. Definitely want to grab that. There is a log on the ground nearby here, which I believe this is it. Doing this gets us a mithril. Next, we want to find Tigger again and talk to him. Come on, where are you? Well, here's Rue. Wow, Sora, you're so good at everything. Okay, well, where are you, Tigger? Ah, there you are. Let's go try the seesaw. Alright, that'll get him over to the seesaw. And we want to talk to him at the seesaw to get onto the higher branches. Okay, now then, if we jump up the branches to our right, we will eventually see a leaf canopy. Wait, get to a tree with a hole in it and jump to the leaf canopy. Well, that looks... the leaf canopy. Let's see here. There should be a treasure chest to the left. At least I think that this is the right one. Oh, and I'm gonna have to... Okay, I'll cut that out and try again. Oh. Okay, this is probably it. Or no, that's not a... Oh, there it is. Getting that gets us a Dispel G. Okay, and now with that, we want to Oh, no, that was a different item. My bad. Okay, back up we go. Okay, finally made it to this chest. Getting us a mithril shard, and we jump back down there to get that item that was near Pooh. So now we have to talk to Rue and have him be our partner. Now we have to jump down carefully to reach a lower branch. Okay. And we can't carry any more Thunder G's, so it was a waste, but hey, now you guys know where it is. In any case, there is one more thing that we can do if we talk to Owl. Rare nuts grow on these trees. I'll trade you things for them. Okay, so we have to find a total of 5 rare nuts, and the first 2 we saw are up here where Rue can launch us. I don't think we can carry more than 1 at a time, so we will have to just constantly go back to Owl. Ah, splendid. Here's something in return. Obtained a power-up. Definitely want that. Let's have Rue launch us up again to get that other one. Don't know why they made it so we could only hold 1 at a time, but whatever. Ah, splendid. Here's something in return. A defense up. Next, we want to go to the stump near Pooh. Which I think... Where exactly is he? Ah. This is probably it. I believe that activates this geyser. Which does activate a bit of a shortcut for us. Gives us a platform to be able to... Oh, and the time's up. Okay, I didn't realize that. I probably should have been a bit more... Probably should have looked up something a bit more specific than where I am sourcing my notes for this, so that's my bad. And I am making the same mistake again. Okay. Rare nut number 3 in our pockets. Now where are you, Owl? There you are. Okay, get a mithril shard for that one. Now we have to use Tigger on the seesaw. And jump to the branch to the right that isn't connected to the current one. So I did have this right, I just didn't really think things through. And here gets us another rare nut, so back to Owl we go. Okay, gets us an AP up, definitely worth it. And now we need to go to the log we broke near the giant pot. Oh, okay, so that wasn't the one that Pooh was standing near, so where is the stump that was meant to be that? It's not activating that. activate the geyser near the seesaw. Okay, that gets us the last one easily enough. Okay. All in all, not that bad. Ah, splendid. Here's something in return. Obtained an orichalcum. Look at all these nuts. We couldn't have done it without you. Alright, well, let's get out of here. Torn page turned into a new item. Obtained mithril. Okay. All in all, not too bad. Let's get out of here, though. Hard to believe it's almost over for that book, but we'll be back with one page soon. In any case, with the time that we have left, I want to actually head up to Merlin's area to practice magic. Because I want to properly demonstrate how to use each of the summons other than Simba that we haven't shown off yet. I know I gave little spiels about them when we got them, but I figure this is a better use of our, well, a decent time to actually show them off. So let's go with some stationary targets. And we're going to start things off with Genie. Now, unfortunately, these pieces of furniture that Merlin provides us to use will not be accurate to their damage or abilities, but it'll be at least the best that we can do for right now, outside of actually hunting down Heartless. In any case, Genie will target onto whatever you do, and if you use his command Showtime, he will attack enemies with a barrage of magic, varying from thunder, gravity, stop, or just magic homing bullets that he shoots from his fingers. You might notice that my MP meter with Genie is a bit different from your own. This is because I have Cheer on Goofy, so it might not exactly match. And for a cost of 2 MP, Genie shows why he's worth it as a summon. Having a friend like him is definitely very good. Next up, we're going to summon Bambi. Answering our call for a measly 1 MP, Bambi is one of the best summons in the game. He will basically just go around prancing about, dropping MP orbs every time. The main gimmick of him, though, is that after 6 enemies are defeated while he's active, well, actually, each enemy that you defeat while he is active will generate a charge. The more charges you get, the greater his gauge fills, and once you have defeated 6 enemies with him active, he will drop a item. It could be a elixir, it could be potions, but it could also be a synthesis material. The items involved will be based on what world you are currently in. All in all, he is a very good support summon for the needs of anyone who likes to use magic a lot, or if you're trying to hunt down synthesis materials and you don't have Lucky Strike yet. All in all, pretty good. And last but certainly not least, we have Dumbo. For a steep cost of 3 MP, I've done seen about everything as Dumbo takes flight. Immediately, Sora will shrink down, becoming immune to all enemy attacks. This makes him a pretty decent panic button. As with swimming in Atlantica, Dumbo can fly using the same circle and square buttons. He also has his main attack, Splash. which is just a stream of water in front of him that will do blizzard damage. It's not the strongest, but it is pretty powerful, at least against anything that doesn't resist blizzard. All in all, he is a pretty good summon. The splash attack actually does Sora's max MP times 2 plus 8, or plus 14 if you're playing Final Mix for a base attack set, so all in all pretty strong. While he isn't as good as Genie in my opinion for crowd control, he does pretty well. In any case, let's end that there, and let's actually head back to Merlin's main room. With that, I'd say we've seen about everything that we can show off in 100 Acre Wood for right now, and with the summons that we have available to us. Next time, we'll be flying out of Agrabah once again to explore the path we didn't take. I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, stay gold.
Playback sequence terminated. Transmission disconnected.